All right, welcome everyone to the June 28th, 2022 edition of Genealogy, Carlentini, Omaha, and Beyond.
And beyond.
So it's actually Genealogy and Culture now, Suzanne. I want to welcome our guest, Suzanne Greco, who is with us from New England, the state of Massachusetts, near Boston, she said.
Yep.
And she will talk to us in a minute about ItalianParishRecords.org, which I believe is in the chat log for everyone. Let me just put it in there one more time, because I know if you came in like a second after I posted it, it won't be there. So put it in again. So before I ask Suzanne to introduce herself and begin her presentation, I am going to try to quickly summarize the group for you. As you know, Mary Kay is in Omaha. Anthony Marino is a friend of mine from Texas, in the Galveston, Houston area. We're involved in an organization, a genealogical society here. Nick Gibelisco is our Italian citizenship expert, and
Ciao, Suzanne.
he has a Facebook page. I know a guy. And he's helping me to embark on my Italian citizenship. Kimberly Matteo is in Western Nebraska, originally from Omaha. And she is a descendant of Giuseppe Salerno. And the Salerno brothers began the chain migration process from Carlentini to Omaha. Marianne Safio, tell us again what town you're in, Marianne.
Omaha. I'm in Omaha.
And she also, I know, is involved in doing tours. I don't know if you've ever been to Omaha, Suzanne, but they have what's called the Old Market area, which is sort of a historic warehouse district, and where the historic fruit market was, where a lot of the Italian immigrants worked. And so Marianne Safio works with the Douglas County Historical Society. Is that right, Marianne?
That's correct. That's correct.
And she's also a member of a sister organization, the Italian American Heritage Society.
That's correct.
And Eleonora Formica, as I mentioned to you earlier, is a resident of Sicily. The singing tour guide of Ragusa, as well as a native of Lentini and a part-time resident of Carlentini.
Exactly.
Gary Gibelisco is cousins with
And the
everybody.
president of the
Oh, yes.
Carlentini Omaha Sister City Association.
Exactly. Yeah, I told
Where everybody should be a member.
exactly.
We are all members, let's say, so far.
So, and Gary Gibelisco is cousin to all of us, I think. I know he is to me, and as you can see, he shares his name with a couple people in here. Let's see, we have Tracy Kyler. Welcome back, Tracy.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm usually not able to make these because I'm working, but.
And you and Kimberly are fairly closely related, is that right?
Oh yeah, we're cousins. Our mothers were sisters.
So more so.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
my cousin too.
And the Nebbias, Steve and Sheila. Steve is the Italian and Sheila is the genealogist. And and Steve traces his roots to Vinciaturo, which is in Campobasso. Is that right, folks? Yeah.
See,
And Jim Beckman, he's towards the end of the list here, but not anywhere in terms of his priority is he towards the end of the list, because he is our transcriber who has been transcribing the Nascita, Matrimonio, Morti records of Carlentini into a database on ancestry.com. It is a private database that he has shared with most of us here, I believe. And
Not me.
he's our so-called mother tree, because
the mothership.
he has a 40,000, more than 40,000 people on the Sicilian side.
And since the release of the Portali Antonati, which for us is a very recent phenomenon,
See.
But he has been very busy here recently transcribing. Nuccia Silvana Piricello is
Yes, here I am.
she is a teacher, a scholar, a researcher based in, she lives in Lentini, but her history is from Carlentini. And she gave us a very interesting presentation last week on a facility called Borgo Rizzo, which is a Mussolini era compound, an agricultural, I don't know, how do you describe it, Eleonora? What?
Was
It's
obviously a
colonization.
fascist.
The fascist colonization.
Yes,
Colonization.
it was a fascist colony, because for Mussolini, all the citizens, they had to have the possibility to spend their summers, above all the kids, the so-called colonies. And
That's not
at that time,
exactly the reason, Leonora, sorry.
that's
not
not for Borgorizza, but that's for the soldiers. So this was for the fascists themselves, of course. So it's a place that we are trying to restore and transform into a cultural center.
So then we have Marianne Mangiamelli Webster. Marianne is in Omaha, and I failed to mention that there will be a delegation of approximately 100 people from Omaha going to Carlentini in August.
Yes, we are divided into two groups officially. Like Marianne, she's one of my guests because I'm a tour guide, as Nico's mentioning. So the group of 46, and then there is another group of 28 people, and then there are other people coming individually with their families. So yes, we are almost 100 people, and I'm in contact with all of them to make this synergy, to let all the activities that we have being enjoyed by everybody. This is the first time in the history of Carlentini that 100 people from Omaha are coming with their friends and family, husbands and wives, and so on. Beautiful.
And another last but not least person is Dean Badiato. Dean is probably
my
longer
cousin.
than most of us. And
Hello, cousin.
Dean is a transcriber as well. He's been transcribing into paper records, and then he takes the paper records and transcribes them into family group sheets that are done on Word,
On the computer.
on Word, and then turned to PDFs. And so he generates those for his customers as well as for us as a group upon request. And he has an amazing archive of family group sheets that he has compiled over the years. Let's see, who else do? She doesn't have her camera active, but Monica Zendejas is also a longtime genealogist who has done presentations for us on Italian genealogy, and has worked with the Family History Center in Omaha, and is well acquainted with how that operates. Let's see, who else do we have? Steve Upton is connecting to audio, so I don't know if, oh, he disappeared. Matthew Sortino is also an Omaha descendant, but he lives, I believe, in Arizona at this point. And-
No.
Hello, Matthew.
Oh, ciao. I'm in Omaha, but looking to move to Arizona. But right now, the market is a little high.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I got your story mixed up a little. Okay, so rather than going around the room and asking everyone to speak, I took the liberty of making introductions for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne to introduce herself and also to talk to us a little bit about Italian parish records.
Hey, thank you. You are a fantastic group. I am honored to be introduced to each one of you and hopefully to get to know you guys a little bit better. I'm excited. I'm really excited by all the work that you're doing and all the activities and just engagement that you're doing in this area. So I am an hour just out of Boston, and I live in the country, and I got started. Let me tell you just a little bit how Italian Parish Records got started. Over 25 years ago, I married an Italian, and I started helping him with his Italian genealogical research because he didn't know how to read Italian, but either did I, but I knew a little bit of Latin. I spent just over 12 years sitting in a dark room at a family history center owned by the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, looking at microfilm.
Wow.
I extracted every name for the death, marriages, and births off of those films while my kids were coloring with coloring books or whatever. So every Tuesday I would go and I would spend an hour or two and extract all the names from the town, and then I put them all into a GEDCOM file and connected every person, literally this huge massive 40,000 people.
What town was it?
Say that
What
again?
town was it? What town was it?
Sansozio, Baronia. It's in Baronia. Sorry, it's in Avellino in Campania. So it's about an hour and a half east of Naples. The country, they grew things. They're all farmers. Well, a lot of them are farmers. So, and actually Greco comes from Sicily, from the west side of Sicily.
West Coast.
Yeah, the West Coast, correct. So I haven't
I
been.
will say between Palermo and Trapani, usually they are, it's not exactly Palermo, it's most really the West Coast. I have friends, Greco, Trapani, Marsala.
Yeah, so
Greco's from Lentini.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
There are even in Lentini, but the majority, according to my experience, are on the West Coast.
Yeah, I can find a path from them going from the Amalfi up to, sorry, going up from Sicily up to Campania, but I can't get all, I need more parish records. Anyway, I wanted the parish records in the town, so I was volunteering at a family history booth in another town, and I met a gentleman who had indexed all of the records for his town in Salerno. And I said, we sat down and talked, and I said, I really want the parish records. And he said, oh, I've been to Italy, but I didn't have much time, and I got to look at the books for, like an hour, and I couldn't find all the names. And I said, yeah, I mean, when you go to Italy, you want to see the people, eat the food, and do all those fun things. You don't really want to spend time looking at records.
Nika can say the same.
Yeah, so
when you came here.
I said, I want all the records digitized. So he actually found someone to digitize his records, and he helped find an archivist for me to hire. And he digitized all the records in the church for me. We got permission from the bishop, and the records were in very, very poor condition. The pages were shattering. The death records were particularly bad. And Peter and I sat down. This is the gentleman that got his records digitized in Salerno. He said, well, if your records and my records are in really bad condition, what about the rest of Italy? So crazy, but
The same.
I started this a nonprofit to kind of figure out what was going on. Why wasn't anybody preserving 400 years worth of history in Italy? So we got the website up. We found that hundreds of private individuals, hundreds of genealogists have privately digitized parish records, and everyone holds them. No one has a place to put them. No one dares let them loose, or else they hold them and they make people pay money for them. There's no sharing. There's just no collaborative efforts whatsoever going on. And it's been very difficult. So what we've done is we try to bring people together. We help people. We're helping people at the bottom level, like groups like you who would like to get your records digitized. And we are also working at the top. In November, I've been invited to the Vatican to talk to people and try to advocate for 400 years worth of history, the only history that exists, because the only records that were kept were by the church in Italy, and 99% of the people in Italy were Catholic. So to have these 400 years of historical records on almost all the people in Italy is a gold mine for scholars and academics. So let me talk a little bit about that, and then I'll go down to your what you're doing in your level. And please stop me and ask questions. I'm happy, to answer them as we go. So we're working with a professor at the University of Bologna. So University of Bologna is kind of like the Harvard of Italy. And Nicola Barbin is working on a very, very large European immigration study, the first of its kind, where it's looking at multi-generational behavioral patterns that get passed on. And this is going to impact social policies. And he's doing this for all over Europe. He's got one PhD person in particular working with the Italian records. And we've provided him with over 2 million civil records. And those are large databases that we are providing him with. Yes.
My question is, what's the name of this teacher? Because if he has written some books, or if he has published something, I would love to look for him online, and then even maybe if they are in Italian, maybe translate them in English.
Okay, so I don't know.
I'm sure that he published something.
Yeah, so he actually has his focus right now is it's called the Gen Pop, and I would have to get you the link to it. But if you do a Google on Nicola Barbin, University of Bologna, and his big project right now is called Gen Pop, and that is this sorry, maybe I should put that in the chat. I think it's
Nicola Barbon.
Did I spell that right? or-
Barbon.
A-N with an A-N. Yeah, sorry, where is the chat? I'm like
A-N.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go to more.
sorry.
Nicola Barbon, University of Bologna, Università di Bologna. Yes, that's the
Okay, good.
the eldest university, I think.
Yep, so if you look up Gen Pop,
Thank
if you
you.
do a search for Gen Pop and Nicola Barbin, he has a website just for that project. And it's a 5-year project. This is a huge, huge undertaking that he's got a lot of people involved in, and we're really grateful to be part of it because this will help project how important the